Hi everyone, welcome to another video from Tata STEM Academy. In today's video, we are going to talk about how we can tackle a practice exam here, right? I'm going to take you through each questions in practice exam, and we'll learn like what is the right answer, what is the wrong answer, why those answers cannot be right. We have 50 questions thing, and all of you can do this for free. This is which I have mentioned in the previous video. So once you scroll down, you will be seeing this. So I am in this Microsoft certified fabric data engineer certification page. But if you scroll down, you will see like take practice assessment page. Once you click there, you will be taking into this practice exam page, and so you will have 50 questions. It is not time bounded, but these questions, like once you learn different things from various YouTube channels and everything, right? You can always come to this page and try out this exam, because the reason why I am suggesting this is directly from Microsoft. So these questions are divided into three categories, as I mentioned earlier. All those three categories will be covered in this within this 50 question. This is going to be similar to what you are going to experience in the certification session. So let us, without wasting much time, let us go one by one. So what I would suggest, when I show you like reading through these questions, I would also want you to go through the same questions and like note it down what is the answer. So when I select the answer, either right or wrong, we are going to talk about that answer, so that it helps you to understand why your answer was right or wrong in a clear functional way. So the first question, your organization uses Microsoft Fabric for data analytics workforce. So just keep this in mind. Generally, all your questions starts like this. Maybe either your organization, a company wanted to start, right? So maybe if you, in order to save time, yeah, before we go into that, like we get almost 120 minutes, and we have to kind of considering taking only 1 minute for question, and we can use this search option later in the review period, that you can take another 30 minutes. So that means like around 75 minutes for this question answer. And you also have this uh, you also have the case study, which you'll have like 3 to 5 questions which you need to answer. So that we should make sure that each question we are only giving 1 minute, so that like we will get enough room to come back and review these questions. So all like I'll tell you some tricks which I generally follow, so that help you to quickly read these questions. So generally, until the first point, most of the cases you don't need to really pay attention to it. The main question starts from the second. Okay. So there are delays. So they set the stage that your organization uses the Microsoft Fabric for data analytics and workflow. There is a delay in process due to the inefficient memory of data ingestion and transformation. Inefficient monitoring of data. So that means this question is related to monitoring, right? You need to implement a solution for effective monitoring data workflow. So we have to suggest what is the most effective monitoring workflow in Azure data Fabric. So configuring alert in Microsoft Real-Time Hub is the answer, because Power BI dashboard, store data event in Lake, use Azure Monitor. So when you look at, right, Microsoft Real-Time Hub is part of Fabric, and all other three are not. And if you see, creating a dashboard is not referring anything as real time. Storing the data event is storage. You got to go and check that, right? So we need an efficient method. So that's why real-time hub. So once you click on check answer, you will see in this case this is the right answer. And we also have the same description mentioning. You can pause and go through this description, so that you'll understand like why all other answers are wrong. So next question, yeah, your company has implemented a lakehouse architecture using Microsoft Fabric to support the large scale data analytics, right? So this particular point is not adding much value to this question. The data engineering team need to ensure that the data transformation process are optimized for performing the reliability. You need to oversee the data transformation process to detect any bottleneck or failures enhance them accordingly, right? So you need to oversee the data transformation process to detect any bottleneck or failures and enhance them accordingly, right? So we need to oversee it. It is also probably going to refer as a monitoring task. So what should you do? Configure an alert and transformation failure, enable detailed logging for performance. So you need to oversee the data transformation process to detect any bottlenecks or failure. So what we need to do, we need to get some kind of alert, right? Because we don't want to go and look at it, enhance them accordingly. Configure the alert for transformation failure, enable the detailed logging, implement automatic scaling, because automatic scaling is not helping you to oversee the uh, any bottlenecks or failures and enhance them accordingly. Okay, enhance them accordingly means like if there are bottlenecks, it should fix that, right? That there is a convey like that. So let us the basic monitoring tools without advanced. So this is not an answer straight away because they are saying basic monitoring role. Configuring an alert is an option because you can know the alert and fix it. And implementing an automatic scaling for transformation process looks like an answer, but it is not referring a failure. So that is why I'm going with this answer. Let us see. Yeah, because you will understand why I didn't select the third one, because that is talking about scaling but not talking about how you can fix the issue. So this is why in some cases, if you feel these answers are complicated, you would always get this flexibility to go through the answers and pick the most availing one. And in the exam case, you also have this review answer option. If you think that some of the answers are not sensible and you wanted to come back and review it, always click on the review so that like you can go back and answer it again. Your organization uses the Microsoft Fabric for managing, monitoring various data activities, okay, including the data pipelines, data flows, semantic models. Recently, issues of the data ingest process failing to intermittently have caused delays in data availability for reporting. You need to determine the cause of this failure and ensure effective monitoring data ingestion process to prevent the future disruption. So we need to prevent the future disruption, right? Take those words. So that like enable alert only for non-critical issue, that's not a right way, right? We have to be so that's not the right answer. Increase the data ingest frequency does not solve the problem. Use basic logging and tool monitoring. Let us see what is the last one. Use monitor hub to filter the activity by status and time. So that like a monitoring hub would help. That is what I am thinking. Let us see. Yeah, because this here, like use these keywords like alert only non-critical, right? So that means like they are not paying much attention. And increase data, it has nothing to do with issues, right? And use basic logging. So that is why I have eliminated between. So you need this advanced option, so that help you to understand this problem in detail. An organization has implemented the Microsoft Fabric for data transformation process. However, there has been instances where semantic model refreshes fails without notification, impacting the business intelligence report. You need to set up an alert to monitor semantic model refresh event and receive the notification upon the failure. Each correct answer present part of the solution. Which three actions should you take? Yeah, so this is the very first time we are getting the questions with multi-select. So here when you read this multi-select question, one thing which I always keep in mind, see like how many selection you have to make. That should be there in the last line for sure, like two options, three options, right? That would be mentioned. So and another thing, which three actions should you take? Okay, so there would be two types of questions in general. One is like all two can be an answer, and all three can be an answer, or these three combined giving you result. That means like think about you are doing an action, right? So this is going to be acting like an action. When you do these three steps, your this particular problem can be addressed, solved, like solved. Okay, each correct action present part of the solution, right? So what was the question? You need to set up an alert monitoring semantic model refresh event receiving notification upon the failure. So that means like notification upon failure, monitoring and semantic model refresh event. Okay, configure a filter, yes, because we need only for this thing. Notify team via all refreshes is not required because we only need the error while failing. Select a fabric workplace item level event is required because we need to go to that level. And for alert action, set alert for all the refresh event without filtering. Use KQL query set to monitor refresh status. No, send an email for the alert actions. So that is what we need, right? We need to configure an alert fabric, and yeah, so let us see. Correct. So you can pause this and read through so that you will understand why these answers are correct. And just one more thing in between, like every time when you do this exercise, you will be getting a new sets of question. So when you do like 2-3 times of this practice exam, after like having a good idea about Azure will definitely boost your confidence. Sorry, the exam, and definitely boost your confidence. And this option is available for all the certifications exams in Microsoft. An organization uses the Microsoft Fabric for data flow, and some data transformations are not compelling and causing delays. The organization need immediate alert for the data processing. So this is again talking about alerts, right? Increase data refresh frequency does not like immediately alert. Set up a dashboard in Power BI does not solve the problem. Set up a weekly report for transformation logs. Does this problem solve? Set up a notification for transformation events in Microsoft Fabric. So I believe because and they are looking for immediate delivery, right? I read somewhere like not compelling the causes. The organization need immediate alert. So set up a weekly report does not solve your problem because you get it weekly, right? Dashboard in Power BI, does this solve the problem? Let us try checking the answer, right? So the notification for transformation events, right? So that's going to solve the problem. Your company has implemented a SQL database in Microsoft Fabric to handle the large scale data analytics. Recently used reported slow performance during the peak hours. That means like peak hours you are having the slowness. You need to implement a solution that optimizes the query performance automatically without manual intervention. Enable auto tuning is an option. Enable manual index is not an option. Enable query caching is an option. Enable uh, resource governance policies. I think these two are eliminated straight. Now we need to say okay, query caching or automatic tuning, because the problem is during the peak hours, right? That means like automatic query tuning can be an answer. Yes, enable auto. So enabling query caching might seem beneficial, but does not directly optimize the query execution automatically, right? So understanding this fundamental would help you to choose the right answer. Yeah, so your organization uses Microsoft Fabric to manage data pipelines for processing sales data. Recently, a pipeline failed during the execution and the error log indicate a missing data source in one of the lookup activity. Um, and the error log indicate the missing data sources in one of the lookup activity, right? And to configure a pipeline to fail gracefully with a clear error message when such issues occur, because we need a failure task. Okay, so just if you understand, add a conditional check to handle the missing data sources. No, because the expectation is to failure, right? Add a fail activity with a custom error message and code, log errors and continue pipeline execution, retry the so this the requirement already very clearly say that the expectation is to gracefully fail it. So that means the best option is like create a fail activity and give the custom error message, so that like you will have control over the error messages. Ayo. Sorry, I just clicked on next. That was the right answer, but when you learn it, always click on the um, check your answers to get the clarity on the answers which you provided. Your company uses the Microsoft Fabric to manage the data pipeline for real-time analytics. A recent pipeline execution failed due to the data conversion error. you need to resolve the error to be ensure the successful pipeline execution, right? So what could be the errors, right? Because data conversion error is what you got, but you have no idea what it is, right? We need to work. So adjust data type can solve the problem, but are you sure is adjusting data type is the underlying issue? Ignore data type conversion error can let you to run the pipeline execution going. You need to resolve, right? So the best option is increasing CPU allocation will never solve your problem. That's a common sense. Review the data ingest data insight for error metrics. So data insight provide you detailed error metrics that help you to understand the real root cause of this problem, and you would be able to um, solve this problem. So that's why adjust data type sounds like a problem, but you have no idea is this data conversion error due to the data type or not. Okay, so just don't fall into an answer. When you have 4 options, try to make sure that you are choosing the right option. Yeah, an organization uses the Microsoft Fabric lakehouse architecture to store the process large volume of data. The data engineering team notices that some queries are not performing as expected, particularly those involving user-defined functions. You need to ensure optimal query optimize performance while maintaining use of UDF. There is a user-defined function, but that is not performing. Okay, so what are the options which we have to optimize the query performance? Enabling high concurrency mode, enabling query caching, switch to a different execution engine, use traditional Spark engine. So when you see a not performing as expected, and there are user defined function or in all the cases, Spark engines would provide an additional boost for your query's performance without doing much changes. So I believe this can be the answer. Yes, it is. So you will be able to understand this in detail. So the reason is like for in user defined functions ensure able to maintain the performance. Native execution engine is nothing but your traditional Spark engine that gives a boost to the query performance. So you don't need to do any other configuration changes in order to like achieve this performance improvement. Clear? Yeah. Your company uses the Microsoft Fabric for its data warehouse, loading large data set from Azure Blob Storage. You need to ensure efficient data ingest with minimal errors. What should you do? Loading large dataset from Azure Blob Storage, you need to ensure the efficient data ingestion with minimal errors. What should you? Enable data partition. So enabling data partition before loading does not help because maybe the goal is to have an efficient ingestion with minimum errors, right? That is not talking about a partition or performance related things. And use a single insert statement for each row. Use a copy statement with wildcard. Use multiple insert. So when you see a large data set loading, right, from blob storage and all these things, always keep this in mind. Copy statement is the best optimal way to load a set of files, which is like using wildcard. So here also loading large data set they have mentioned. So this is going to be copy, and copy statement with wildcard is the answer. So just try to understand. You may also get this copy related questions like multiple selection. If it is coming this way, I'll discuss about that as well. Yeah, now an organization uses the Microsoft Fabric to manage a large scale data lake containing numerous delta files frequently uploaded and queries by various analytics teams. However, query performance has degraded over the time, leading to an increased processing time and higher cost. You need to implement and maintain the strategies to enhance the efficiency of data lakehouse. So, maintenance strategy to enhance the efficiency, right? So, however, the query performance has degraded over the time, leading increased processing time and high cost. So, you have to um, understand one thing is over the time the performance has degraded, right? When you think about over the time it is changed, it has nothing to do with the data storage, correct? Because data may have accumulated and cause this problem. And how many options we need to give? We need to give three actions. Enabling data caching is like on the query, like query running level, okay, which we can directly eliminate. And reducing the retention period is also not great thing. Yes, definitely retention will have changes in storage, but we have more app three options. One is like applying vorder, use optimize command, and use vacuum. Vacuum will like delete the files which is no longer in use, right? And like optimize will reorder and partition is effectively, and vorder also does the same thing. So it is asking us to give, we have to take the three actions. So this can be the three actions which to like to do these activities. Okay, going to next. I'm still recommending, given the video is going to be too long, I am not discussing about this in detail, but please pause and read through this. So this is like it will help you why these other two options are not selected. I'm only talking this in very high level. There's another question. Which three options? So we have to have a three options selected, right? Yeah, your organization uses the data lake house to manage the large data set for analysis. Recently, query performance on a delta table had degraded due to many small Parquet file. You need to improve the delta tables query efficiently. So when you say like there are so many small files, means that like that is again a storage level issue. Each correct answer present the part of the solution which of the three options. So you can blindly like, because converting to Hive or enabling delta caching, keep this in mind, delta caching is in the query level thing, and increasing the data partition does not solve the problem because they are already talking about the multiple files. So again, this is the same answer what we have given as a previous question, but the question was different. Okay, apply reordering will reorder, applying reorder, optimize sorting, encoding and compression, correct? Yeah, just keep these kind of keywords. Optimize will again reorder, like Wacom will clean up these unnecessary files, right? Your company uses the Microsoft lakehouse to manage the large data set for analytics, and recent query performance on a delta table has degraded due to an increase in small Parquet file. Has degraded due to increase in small. So this looks like the same question again. You need to optimize the delta table to improve the query performance. Each correct answer represents. So increase the number of partition does not work. Converting to high table also not working. So what are the other option? Reorder, you know what it is, and optimize command to consider file. You know, like optimize and reorder are really going to do that in the delta table root level, which will solve your problem. Correct? Yeah. Your organization has implemented a Microsoft Fabric data warehouse to handle the large scale data ingestion and processing. The current setup involves frequent data loads throughout the day, which sometimes lead to a performance bottleneck. Okay. You need to optimize the data ingestion process to handle the large volume of efficiently without causing the performance issue. You need to optimize the data ingestion process, handle large volume of efficiently without causing a performance issue. Each correct answer present. Okay, that you have to take two actions. So out of four, you need to give two, right? Large scale data. So some keywords which we can think: large scale data index and processing efficiently without causing performance issues. So let us see what are they, right? So I did select this. Divide large insert options into smaller part is not that great, but grouping the insert statement into batches will will help you to uh, like reduce the commit state. So this group insert statement can be one of it. Use large data type for columns is has nothing to do with this, but using the smaller or like sensible data type is going to add a value. Okay, so let us check the answers. So I was wrong. Divide a large insert operation into smaller part. Okay, so that was the right answer. So I was considering smaller data type is like if you are not giving the proper data type, it can be an answer. Unfortunately, that is not the point. Dividing large insert operation into smaller part is the answer. Grouping insert statement into batches reduce the transaction overhead, thereby improving the performance during the data ingestion. Dividing the large insert operation into smaller parts minimize the rollback time, enhances the SIM responses. I think this is clear, right? Yeah, I think this is my first strong answer in this. Your company uses the Microsoft Fabric to manage the data warehouse that supports the various analytic workload. Users report slow query performance, especially during the initial execution of queries. You need to optimize the query performance for the initial execution without relying on the automatic statistics. So when you see this term, right, you got to like which are the two actions. So when you see that optimize the query performance in the initial execution without relying on the automatic statistics, enabling query caching doesn't help, allowing query parallelism is not the answer. Manually create a statistics for frequently queried tables, that is one option, and use direct lake model. I am not 100% confident on this answer. I'm giving this answer, and we'll check the answers and learn from it. So now I also curious like why query caching and query parallelism cannot be an answer. Manually creating statistics for frequently queried table enhance the query optimizer ability to select efficient execution plans, which is crucial to improve the initial query performance. You got it right? Which is crucial to improve the initial query performance. So they have mentioned the initial query performance. So we got to like find those keywords, and we should be able to map these options along with those things. And using direct lake mode in like Power BI reduce the latency by allowing the direct data access from the lakehouse, right? Enabling query parallelism might seem beneficial, but it is not specifically address the issue of initial query execution. So the only because of the initial query execution, the initial query parallelism has been eliminated. Clear? Your organization is transitioning to the data mesh architecture using the Microsoft Fabric. So data mesh is nothing but, if you are not aware of what is data mesh is nothing but you are able to store the data based on domain. Like that is a like buzzword today, like where you will be like the big data meshes are going built by the organization. It is like a domain driven data architecture in simple. So you are responsible for organizing data into domains. You need to configure a setting to independent management of rules and restrictions by each business unit. So that means like for each business unit, you need to have a configuration, right? So assign workspace to multiple domains does not solve the problem, because it is not saying that you have to uniquely define something for a business unit or a domain, right? So that's not working. Configuring domain specific sensitive level. A sensitive level labeling does not ensure the access delegation or access control, right? So create workspace with shared governance settings doesn't help. Delegate the tenant level settings to domain. So this look more app for me based on these options, because so we are delegating the tenant level settings to the domain, so that like they will get access to manage this organization data domains. So yes, that is a right answer. Please feel free to go through this statement by pausing this video, so that like you will get the clarity why the other answers are not in the selection. Your organization uses the Microsoft Fabric to manage the data across the departments. You need to ensure each department can manage its data governance settings independently. What should you do? You need to ensure each department can manage its data governance settings. So it's also similar to a data mesh kind of option, right? So each department can manage its data governance settings independently. Independently, they wanted to manage the data in each department. Assign a workspace to a single domain. Consider all the department under one domain. So the second option is not selected. Delegate tenant level settings to domain is an option. Implementing centralized governance policy. Assigning workspace to single domain look like an answer, or third one, I'm giving the check answer to see which is right. Okay, delegate the tenant level settings to domain. The same answer what we have given previously is coming the same answer for this as well. Like just understand that, like when you in tenant level settings to domain, allow each department to manage its own government settings independently, which align with the requirement of the independent management. Assigning workspace to a single domain or considering all the department under one domain centralized control prevent independent management and implementing the centralized government policies also centralize the control. Okay, yeah, so hope that is clear. Your organization is implementing a data mesh architecture. What is data mesh? You know that architecture using Microsoft Fabric. Each department manages its data independently while adhering to the governance policies. You need to configure the domain settings and domain specific things. Each correct answer present part of the solution. Which two actions should you take? So one thing which we have learned by correcting the answers is like uh, assigning workspace to business domain, centralize data governance policies for all department doesn't work, delegate settings to domain level. I think this is one thing which we have been answering. Set up the centralized data access control, assign workspace to business domain. I feel like these two can be the answer. How many you want? Okay, centralize the data governance policies for all department does not help. You need to configure the domain settings for domain specific governance. Yeah, let us learn from mistakes. Let us see what is correct, right? So this was answer which I was giving for the previous, which didn't work. So this, what is the difference here? Like each department manages data independently while adhere to governance policies, right? You need to configure the domain settings for domain specific governance. So that is why workspace to business domains, like they are getting this domain specific governance option. Correct. So moving on to the next one. You are using a Microsoft Fabric to manage data analysis solution in your organization. Your team is responsible for optimizing the Spark job performance in a workspace. Spark job. Okay, so just keep this is Spark. You need to configure a workspace setting to improve the efficiency of Spark job execution. So, like, what is the workspace setting that improve the efficiency of Spark job? Each correct answer present the part of the solution. We have to give three actions. Disable intelligence caching for Spark pool. Enabling auto scaling. Auto scaling is always a good option to improve the performance of job execution. Enabling intelligence caching for Spark pool. Okay, this is disable intelligence caching for Spark pool is never ever be an answer. So that, like, I believe on a guess game, enabling intelligent caching can be an answer. Reserve maximum core for job. Select a different Spark runtime is not an option. Use higher concurrency mode. So between this and this, I think like we have to go back to the question again. You have to optimize job mode in the workspace. You need to be space settings to improve the efficiency of the Spark job. You need to, so it is talking about the efficiency of the Spark job, right? So I believe like it is more about to use high concurrency mode. Let us see, it can be reserved maximum core as well. Let's learn from the answer. Okay, I think intelligence caching is not an answer. So why intelligent caching is not an answer? We learned that um, using high concurrency mode allows to multiple. Okay, uh, disabling intelligence caching would negatively impact. Yes, selecting different Spark runtime version is enabling configuration, but does not directly enhance the job executions. Using high concurrency, I think they haven't mentioned. Reserving maximum core ensure that the Spark high concurrency enhance the execution. Using high concurrency mode allow use to multiple users. I think intelligence caching is not an answer, but I don't think like they have mentioned that here, which I am not able to find. But we can use this link that gives us even more details about why that is. Okay, so I'll learn and comment it if I'm adding any additional information on that. This is 20th question which we are solving. An organization uses the Microsoft Fabric deployment pipeline with multiple stages for analysis solutions. You need to ensure database connections are correct after deploying content in each stage. What should I do? You need to ensure the database connections are correct in after deployment. So what are the areas which we have? We have like CI/CD, that's deployment, monitoring, data ingestion, right? And access control. These are the key areas when we talk about the certification. So, check database connection settings is an option. Define deployment rules. Use automatic binding. Use deployment pipeline manager and database connection. So, defining deployment rule will help you to check these settings periodically, like after deployment, what happens, all these things, right? When you see a deployment related thing, there are few things which I want you to remember. One is like deployment rules. Second thing is like selective deployment. If you wanted to make some changes from dev to test, but that's different from test to prod or test to UAT, you have like selective deployment models that can be an option. And we have deployment parameters which help you to pass some parameter while doing the deployment. So these options, when you see these options, keep in mind that that's going to be the answer most of the cases. Selective deployment and all, we'll see like if we are getting those kind of questions, right? Your organization uses Microsoft Fabric deployment pipeline to manage the analytic solutions across the development, test, and production. You need to restrict the editing of pipeline. Yeah, if you wanted to restrict the editing, the best way is to assign pipeline admin roles. When you set this assign admin roles, then only admin can edit this. Okay, configuring workspace permissions, enabling single level security, stage level security, implementing roles based access control. These things doesn't work, so pipeline admin roles will restrict this access to only to the pipeline admins. You need to, like, your company is using Microsoft, so that's what I'm trying to skip this line, which creates a habit of saving the time here, and which for action should you take. So whatever is coming in front of your options, you need to choose for. You need to set up a deployment pipeline for efficient content management to transition content between environments. So between environments, you wanted to transition the content. So each correct answer is present. Like when you do this transition content between the environment, right? Assigning premium workspace is the best option. Creating a pipeline with multiple stages, we don't need to do. Enable automatic deployment. So pipeline, efficient content management, and transition the content between. Yeah, enabling automatic deployment looks like an answer. Enabling. So here we are talking about deployment. Okay, not data. Just keep that in mind. Enabling notification burst, deployment status update, use deployment role, review deployment history. Yeah, so this is required. Then I think I'm enabling automatic deployment may not be required. Create pipeline with multiple stages. I'm not 100% sure about this answer, but let me try what is the right answer. Okay, I was correct, but then only because of this notification I swapped. Okay. So we, like, this is a step by step, as I mentioned earlier, right? In some of the answers, you got to like read all four can be part of the solution, not the solution. So here you are assigning premium pipeline, creating the pipeline with multiple stages, and review the deployment history, like maybe in another order, right? Creating a pipeline with multiple stages, use deployment role, review the deployment history, assign a premium workspaces. So this can be that way, right? So that like when you choose multiple options, you got to keep that in mind. They are going to be a part of the solution. So in this initial video, my plan, we are already 40 minutes long video, and I don't want this to be too long. So I'll be creating a part 2 for this video after 25 questions. And when I am recording this video, I haven't written this exams of DP-700. I was learning that through a couple of videos and Microsoft tutorials. So what I want you to understand, I'm having very basic understanding of DP-700, and I'm trying to solve this problem, and I'll be sharing like what is my result after this exam as well. So We'll be wind up with 25 questions in the first session, and we'll see like how interesting it is. Like you are seeing how I am interpreting. I don't like all of you can do it. Why this video is important for you? Because I'm interpreting the question and helping you to answer this. So that is what the skill which you need to develop, so that like you can easily tackle these certifications exams going forward. So with that, I'll go with the 23rd question. An organization uses the Microsoft Fabric for data analytics and workflow, right? A deployment pipeline with different configuration at each stage, such as a database connection and query parameters is needed. Database connection and query parameter is needed. You need to ensure the consistent settings across the stages. So you have seen this term query parameters, right? Each connection answer presents part of the solutions, which are the three. Deployment content immediately without verifying. So this look like a negative answer straight away, right? Who will deploy a content immediately without verifying uh, the configuration? Establish a deployment rule for semantic model, right? That look like a correct answer. Redeploy the content after modifying rules. Yes, we need to do that. Review the semantic configurations regularly. You don't need to regularly review this, right? So need read these options always. Semantic, okay, review semantic model configuration look like a correct answer, but regularly. You don't need to regularly review something, right? That doesn't look like. Set query parameter for each stage. This is uh, something which I said. You have something called query parameters, which is going to help you to pass the parameters. So when you see these kind of terms, query parameter configurations and all, keep these things of statements in mind. Okay. Yeah, so that is the right answer. I had yeah. So use single configuration for all stage doesn't work, because they already confirmed that different configuration at each stage, right? So understanding the question, going through this question definitely help you to eliminate these answers more efficiently. Your organization uses Microsoft Fabric for analytic solutions. The team must set up the deployment pipeline for transition between deployment, testing, and production environment. Uh, you need to maintain a distinct configuration for each stage, ensuring only verified changes are promoted to production, right? Each correct answer which you have to have give two answers. Create a unique deployment rule for each stage. Deploy the content across all stages simultaneously. Use selective deployment for content control. We need content control somewhere, right? They are saying like, okay, stage ensure that verified changes. So one is like yes, selective control across all stages simultaneously doesn't look like a relatable answer. Create unique deployment rule for each stage can be an answer. So I'm giving a guess. I'm not sure, but it's right answer. And assigning one workspace to all stage undermine the separation of environment. We need to have separate environment. So assigning one workspace to all stages doesn't add value, which is vital for the deployment management. So just keep this in mind. Assigning one workspace to all stages can never be an answer for your questions of this kind of multi-stage deployments, right? And deploying content across all stages simultaneously, for me, I didn't feel right an answer. So one way is like you are good and you can confidently tackle the answer. Some case like we have to take this technique as elimination technique, where you got like four options and you got to choose one out of it. Now in the 25th question, your company needs the mask sensitive data. Your table contain customer ID, name, address and card number. You need to apply mask of the credit card number column, comply with the data governance policy. So keep this in mind when somebody uses this word mask, right? So this is a SQL like data security part. We have row level security, column level security, data masking. These kind of areas are covered, right? So when you see this mask related question, and if you have like some row level security kind of answers, just keep this in mind. It is going to be related to mask. Okay, so you need to apply the mask credit card number, right? We need to use comply with the government policy. So that is what it's saying. So alter the table customer info, alter column credit card number, add masked with function default. One way is like default, one way is partial, right? Partial means like you can partially based on this logic, it can, so it is going to star 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 and show only the last four digit. Create a view, uh, so we don't need to use view, right? We can do directly in the table. Create a view. So the basically these two options are directly eliminated because they are not adding value. Now between these things, either we can use um, like default or this thing. So both looks correct for me. I'm going with this. Maybe like if SQL is having this complying with a data governance policy, I like maybe I'll go with default, because I believe that SQL is already following the governance policy by default. But I am wrong. Why this default is wrong, let us learn it now. SQL statements add a partial mask the credit card number column effectively complies with the data governance policy by displaying only the last four digits, which is a standard practice of credit cards. Adding the default mask would not provide the necessary partial masking. Okay, so I think it masks the entire data, which I have to test it. So if you know that, okay, there is a clear cut answer, we got to pick that, not the default one. Okay, I think we have completed the first set of 25 questions. Hope this video is clear, and we'll go with from the 26 questions on this next day on, like in the next video, and I'll try to combine both the videos in one, so that like also be able to watch this together. So we'll just as a bonus, I don't know, I really interested doing this, so let me do this 26 question and we can wind this up. Your organization uses the Microsoft Fabric for data warehousing and has implemented dynamic data masking to protect the sensitive information in your employee data. The table include employee first name, last name, SN, email ID. You need to ensure the only authorized users can view unmasked data, while others see masked data according to the defined rule. So there is something called unmasked data. So that means like it is related to data masking, right? User can view unmasked. So create a rule to select permission on employee data is not needed. Grant unmasked permission to authorized user is the best option, so that masks the data for rest of the users. Modify masking rules to allow more data visibility. No, I don't think that makes sense. Use custom masking function to control access. So here they are like you have seen this unauthorized users, they have referred it somewhere, right? So authorized users, so we are giving the permission. So when you have something related to the question, you should always tick on those answers, right? Because granting unmasked permission to the authorized users can view, which aligning with the goal, so that like it masks the data for others. Okay, with that, like I winding up this session. So thank you for watching, and we'll have this continuation of this video uploaded soon in this channel. Thank you.